Hi writers, today we're going to look at narrator's point of view. But I want to celebrate something before we even begin today's lesson. I'm so proud of the ways you're growing so quickly as writers. You might not realize it, but you've already come to understand something critical in the life of a writer. Do you know what it is? Writers are incredibly brave people. They take risks each time they put their pen to paper and tell a story. I think you're coming to realize as you make decisions about which small moments to choose as topics for your personal narratives, that there's tremendous payoff in those moments of strong emotion and struggle and profound realization. It isn't always easy to revisit those kinds of tense life moments, but you're figuring out that it's worth it. In my eyes and in the eyes of your writing community, that makes you pretty brave too. This makes me think that we need to ratchet up the level of work today even further, so that the drafts you write get better and better each day. So today I want to teach you, as writers of true stories, you already know how important it is to write from inside the story moment, telling the story as it unfolds. But today I want to teach you that writers are especially careful about telling the details of the story exactly the way the narrator perceived them at the moment. When people talk about point of view, they're referencing the way the narrator tells the story through his or her eyes and other senses. The details in the scene need to be the ones that the narrator can take notice of. Otherwise, they really don't belong there. When I think about writing inside a moment, I always think back to a certain time when my niece was young and I was helping to change her diaper. And so watch me as I think through the point of view in this first example. In my writing, I might have written something like this. I was still at the changing table, my niece squirming beneath me, when my dad put the box on the kitchen table, and then, peeling off a long strip of tape and pulling back one of the flaps, he looked in on a jumble of family photos with little photo albums scattered throughout. The photos showed me and my sister when we were there. They were the ones he'd lost. But wait, this couldn't be possible. So if I was at the changing table, right in the middle of a serious diaper changing operation, I couldn't move an inch. My dad and the box were across the room, so how would I know what he was seeing inside the box? It helps my readers if I tell the story exactly the same way I experienced it. Let me think about this again. And so now this example is where the point of view is in view. It's all my perspective. I was standing at the changing table, my niece squirming beneath me, when my dad came into the kitchen and dropped a heavy carton on the kitchen table. I heard him rustling about, and then I heard him mutter, "Unbelievable, just unbelievable." He looked up from across the room and called, "Remember all those lost photos from our farm? They're all here." So writers, you see that the major adjustment I just made in the second version, only my father could reveal the contents of that box. I wasn't there with him. I was changing my niece. When writing, I have to step back in time and write from the point of view of that time. I can only capture what I saw, heard, and felt from my particular perspective. So now it's your turn to practice this out. I'm going to read to you a passage, and I want you to think, is this in perspective or out of perspective? Meaning, is the person that's saying it only things that they would experience, that they would hear? I made my way slowly toward the front of the line, as one by one, kids in soggy bathing suits sat at the edge of the water slide before disappearing suddenly down the chute. Okay, so far, that's only that character's perspective. I was next in line, and the thumping in my heart was almost audible. I can do this, I thought to myself. I took one step forward. All right, so far you should be thinking, yep, everything's in their perspective so far. Soon I was at the edge of the slide. I leaned forward just enough to peer down below at the small blue rectangle of a pool dotted with the heads of swimmers below. Okay, yep, we're still in their perspective. I shut my eyes quickly, dizzied from the height. Yep, still their perspective, we're doing okay. I carefully sat down, feeling the cold rush of water beneath me. My hands gripped the edge of the slide. "Ready?" the attendant asked. "I think so," I replied, still unsure. Okay, we're still in the perspective. Last sentence. My cousin waited at the bottom, wondering what was taking me so long. Ah, right there. I have fallen outside of the story. Right there, I've thought about what my cousin is wondering, when really that's not my perspective. My cousin's a whole different person, and I can't begin to imagine what somebody else is thinking or feeling. So that last part does not work because I couldn't have possibly known what my cousin was thinking at that moment. So writers, I want you to take just 30 seconds right now to decide on the powerful small moment story that you're going to begin drafting in today's workshop. If you need help getting a topic, think about looking back to the Inspire section of your writer's notebook. Remember, we've looked at ways of writing powerful personal narratives. Think of a person, a place, or a moment in your life when you realize something. Focus on one episode, write with detail. Help readers picture the episode using exact dialogue, small action, figurative language. And today we worked on climbing inside the moment and writing within the narrator's point of view. Good luck. I'm excited to see what brave things you put on the page.